I was very interested in the piece that you presented with the solar panel. Maybe you introduce a bit the concept of it and why you did what you did.
Well, I maybe just to contextualize a little bit, um, I work with instruments. I started playing guitar, and then I moved to composition. But always this idea of having the instruments in my hands was very important. No? Whenever I write a piece, I need to have the instruments or some contact, physical contact with the instruments. So that led me to create music for many instruments that I don't play, that I don't know how to play, and invent ways to play them. So, for example, if I have to write something for a string quartet, then I need to have a violin and a cello and a viola. Probably as a I don't need the viola, but maybe also the violin, and try to find ways to play them myself. Invent ways and then describe those ways to the performers. So that is kind of an objective approach to instruments in which I try to see them as objects rather than instruments themselves. So from there, of course, the if you think about it in that way, the bridge to compose with objects is closer, right? Like since I'm having an objective approach to instruments, to traditional instruments, I can also have an instrumental approach to objects. So using this bottle as an instrument, right?
I get it.
Since I'm also using it as an object or objectifying instruments, I can also instrumentalize objects in that way. And that's how I got to use solar panels. I started using, well, I studied also sonology next to composition, so I'm used to or familiarized with electronics, cables, voltage, and so forth. And this was a result actually of a residency I did with a collective in Zagreb. And these guys were already using solar panels to create sound, either as sensors or as actually instruments that already generate sound by themselves. Because if you think about it, what they do technically is that they get voltage out of light. So if you use a panel and put light, shine light on this, from the two cables that it has on the back, it's generating voltage. And voltage is sound. As I always say to my students here, all these devices create voltage, and that can be interpreted as sound. So that is physically what the solar panel is doing. And depending on the light that you shine, they create different sounds. The idea behind that piece, however, was that there are four performers around a light that is rotating. And these performers all have a solar panel in their chest. So whenever the rotating light hits them, you hear a sound. So the configuration of these performers around this rotating light creates a different rhythm. If you think about like the position of those performers around the light and the light rotating, it becomes almost like a sequencer, like a physical sequencer where the sound that you hear or the rhythm that you hear is dependent on the position of these performers on space. And of course also the distance from the light. If they're farther away, the sound is softer, as if they're closer away. Closer from the light, you hear a louder sound. So that was, I guess, the idea behind the piece, was to create a sort of human physical sequencer that will depend on the position of the players in the space. Not so much thinking about the solar panel as an object in this case, but more to how to articulate space and performers, the position of performers into sound. That was a little bit the idea behind the concept of this piece.
Yeah, thank you. And could it also be done outside as a to take into account the ecological effect of having performances that consume a lot of energy? So can you do it in nature in a park?
Yeah, however, you will always need electricity, right? Because,
Somehow, yeah.
yeah, and speakers. So in this case, that's not the most ecological piece I've done. I did once a piece um, as part of a festival. It was one day without electricity, and I think that happens every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sort of like a, I don't know, international day without electricity, and people don't have to use electricity for one day. And I was invited to create a piece in Berlin that was part of this festival, and I have 4 bicycles. So the bicycles were had like an alternator on the back, and they were charging batteries, and those batteries were lighting up some lights that I had around the audience, and also some vacuum cleaners. So that was in this case that was more a sustainable piece. I have a picture of that if you want to see.
Yeah.
That it was much more focused on the idea of sustainability um, than the. But of course, solar panels are instruments of sustainability as well. So
Yeah, and for instance, if you could use headphones, wireless headphones instead of speakers, then the audience can enjoy the
also,
music in a more
but
sustainable way.
yeah, I think that in that case, I also was interested in hearing the sounds coming from different locations, no? Because you have 4 speakers around the audience as 4 performers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think like each performer is a speaker that is moving, so you hear the rhythm like tito tat tito tat or tat tito
Could be
depending.
quadraphonic panning also
Yeah, they are actually having quadraphonic panning by moving
by moving.
themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean with the speaker, with the
with the
headphones.
headphones.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a different interpretation. But anyway, you'll need electricity in that case,
Yeah,
no? And a light.
we can generate it with the bikes,
Mhm.
as you said.
Like this is the installation that I had.
Yeah.
So they have an alternator here, and this with the power of the physical power, we're charging these batteries, and those batteries were lighting this, and also the speakers. I remember
Yeah.
the speakers on top of this. You know, something interesting also about this solar panel piece is that indeed I want to create a mechanical version. Because for this piece, the guys in Zagreb built this light that is a light that is moving with a motor. So for that you also need electricity. But the thing is that the ensemble that commissioned the piece, the Slagwerden has owns this equipment. And now, for example, next in 2 weeks I'm going to Estonia for a festival, and they asked me to perform this piece, but we need to rent the equipment.
Yeah.
And also they asked me to perform it in Spain, and they need to rent the equipment, and they never have enough money to rent the equipment, bring it there, pay all the rest of the costs. And I was thinking, why don't we create a piece where there is one performer with a light in the center, and there is another performer moving. You know these platforms that they use to make exercise that they move? They're like twisting boards.
Mm-hmm.
So the performer can be stepping there, and another performer moving him around it, and that is replacing the light, at least the rotating light that is using the motor. You know, that could be a more sustainable approach indeed.
Yeah, interesting. So we can think about mechanical approach instead of electrical approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, because then you need again some sort of electricity to translate sound into, or light into sound. No, that.
Yeah.
That's what they do even in solar panels in houses. You need that system, no, to translate, because it's not. I mean, it's ecological in many ways, but that translation from DC to AC
Requires electricity to
requires
do it.
electricity.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to go through the piece step by step technically to see how you created it?
Mm-hmm.
So to see what I can learn from it also.
It's a pity that I don't have a solar panel. If I would have known, no. I normally have solar panels with me for some reason.
But we can just look on Amazon or.
Yeah, but it would have been so nice
To try, no?
Let me see. I in the EVP. Let me, because I put one there. Let me go and check. You can see it only has 2 connections. So this is just a jack cable with ring and sleeve, tip and sleeve. I'm sorry. And these are soldered to plus and minus, to terminals. So you cannot buy this. You buy it separate, like cable.
You buy it separate,
and then
the
you
cable,
solder it. And then solder it to this. But they, to any solar panel.
So can we put it into
let's
practice? So it reacts also to the lights already in the room, or?
It reacts. I will tell you what it reacts to. Let's check if these lights generate something. Not everything generates sound. Turn on. Seem to be doing watch. So, do you have a light? Some sort of light?
Flashlight.
Yeah. The one from the telephone normally doesn't work that much. The one from the computer. Yeah, that one.
It's too weak, eh?
It's not weak. I will tell you why it doesn't work. But first, I need to see if I have a connection here. One. This is fine. I don't know if let me check. If I can connect something else. There is something. Do you have a lighter, for example?
Mm-mm.
No lighter. Okay. Because that has a different sound as well. Lights. For example, this is emitting a light, right? This is an infrared light. We just don't see it, but you can hear it.
Well,
depending on the button.
so the spectrum of this is outside of what we see.
Yeah, the spectrum of the infrared light.
Yeah.
We don't see it, but
This can read it.
catching it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it can read infra and ultra light.
Ultra, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the spectrum of how much it can read.
Mm-hmm.
But what this is picking up is the pulse width modulation of the lights.
Uh-huh.
You know what? A little bit of that. So it's like LED lights have a pulse, even if we don't see it. They turn on and off very, very fast.
Yeah.
And this is the frequency that you get from the. For example, this is not generating, but if I think there is a dimmer because it's full power. Let me see. Also not. Sometimes if you change the intensity, it changes the pulse width modulation, but I guess the circuit of this is not. What happens with the phone, for example, is that the pulse width modulation is too low, and you only get the on and off. If you put the telephone again, put in on when you are there and off. See? If you do that very fast, then you get a pitch. You get a kick drum otherwise. I'm trying to find other lights. Let's see. Let's explore. This, for example.
Because they're color?
No, I guess the color is just the plastic. I think it's just is the pulse width of those lights.
Pulse width. Oh.
This.
So my question is this connected to a scene that get these sounds, or
Yeah,
how
this
is it working?
this box is only connected here to connect to the mixer.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like I'm connecting to the mixer directly. It's just the
It's just-
studio.
So you're
Is
connected to
kind
the
of-
interface. But
I'm connecting to the mixer.
to the mixer, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just an interface. It's not connecting to a Synth Holland or whatever.
No.
Okay.
This is the sound generated
Direct
by
sound.
this direct sound. There's nothing in between. There's no computers. This is just to the mixer. Or if you think of a speaker,
Mm-hmm.
I actually have this speaker here. If you want to do it more direct, let's say.
Yeah.
Just going to connect directly to this speaker. Can you connect it
Yes.
over there? There's power there.
Okay.
So now I'm connecting it. I think the input is this, or I think that's the microphone line 1.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do again the. So it's the same.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in between. It's just this is the sound going to the speaker, to the amplifier of the speaker. So and so on, depending on the light, depending on the pulse width modulation of an LED light, is the frequency that you get here.
Okay. And how can we hear that pulse modulated thing?
Because this is transmitting, like this is a photo cell, let's say, if you
Mhm.
think about it in that way, and that is sending voltage, right? So this is picking up voltage,
Yeah.
and what we hear is that voltage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
But why we hear the voltage?
because at the end of the day, what a speaker is just a coil and a magnet, and if you put voltage to that coil and magnet, the speaker moves.
Yeah.
And we hear a battery even. Do you have let me show you. Battery. Have you connected a battery to a speaker?
No.
Let's do that. And you will
Oh.
be able to hear a battery as much as you can hear a solar panel. So this is a 9-volt battery.
Mm-hmm.
If I do, let me see if I can use the same cables here. I'll show you the different way. With a jack cable. That's what I always say to my students. So voltage is sound at the end of the day. What we hear in the speaker are fluctuations of that voltage. I'm gonna disconnect the solar panel. So I connect the positive and negative of the battery. You'll hear it. This doesn't. I put the volume down. Stupid.
I hear it.
Yeah?
Nice.
And if I do it very fast, of course, it's the same. So the cone is moving up and down, up and down. It's just voltage. That's what this is doing as well. The solar panel.
Okay, nice. Can we find some links with the solar panels that I can use
Links?
to buy this kind of thing?
Ah, sure.
Yeah.
You have to probably. I mean, depends on how big you want them to be.
But I also want to check this.
Yeah.
So please show me.
Let's say solar panel small, just like that. Let's see what we get. So you get this one. This I have used before.
And it's good.
It's good. It's a little bit bigger than the one I'm showing you.
But I can put it on a dancer.
You can put it, yeah, for sure. Maybe you want something a little bit bigger. This is like this big.
Mm-hmm. And this is plus and minus.
Yeah. Yeah. Just probably have to break this connection and go to jack cable. What is important, however, is that this is an unbalanced cable.
Uh-huh.
So you need to go through a DI box. You know that?
Yeah, I know. But My question is, how can they move without the cable? That's the thing.
Yeah,
To dance together.
right. For my piece, I was using a wireless transmitting system. You know that, like those they have in the theater normally.
Can you show me? Maybe I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, wireless transmitter mic, for example. This kind of systems where you actually have the dancers have to have this
Mm-hmm.
together with their solar panels,
Yes.
and then this transmits the audio into this receiver that is connected to the mixer.
Ah, okay. But
Uh-huh.
that's a bit of a high price, huh?
Yeah, they normally in theaters they normally have
They
this
have
kind
it.
of equipment.
So
Yeah,
maybe Codarts also have it, or a
yeah,
theater in
for sure.
Rotterdam. I can just
You have to check before.
I'll check.
And something to bear in mind, however, is that these devices are built for microphones,
Mm-hmm.
like this one, and you are not gonna connect the microphone. So you have to check what is the input here. Like for example, this one doesn't say. There are pictures here. This one is, I think, is mini jack. That is the best. If it's mini jack, is the best. Most of the times are mini jack. The newer ones are mini jack,
Mm-hmm.
but some old ones have like a strange connection that is called Lemo. That is quite expensive. I had to make my. Yeah, it's mini jack. You see, because this is mini jack.
Yeah.
So that's fine. If it's Lemo, if it's a different kind of connector, you have to make your cables, and I wouldn't recommend you to do that.
No.
All those solar panels you can use. Some of them are very big, so maybe you don't want to use them if they're very big. They're also pricey. And to be honest, I never used a big solar panel for these kind of applications. The
No.
farthest I've gone is like this kind of big.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that they use for houses, I don't know what you get from
No,
them.
there was one which was like 30 euros, and it was like this.
Mm-hmm.
When my idea is not to have this wireless transmitter,
Mm-hmm.
I could just place the solar panel in the center, so they have light on them, so they interact with it. That'd be easier, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. It's fixed,
It's fixed.
and then the result is how much light the panel receives by the dancers blocking the light, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Or have light bracelets with lights.
Mm-hmm.
So when they go near the solar panel, we get sound.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
so we get this direct sound. But is there a way to modify the sound?
That was I was gonna mention. This is what the light produces on the solar panel, but this you can also treat it as a sensor. If you connect this into this is basically a microphone. So
Mhm.
a microphone can also be a sensor because you are getting information from that, and you can map this information to affect another sound,
Yeah.
to trigger a sample, or to use that information to control a different parameter in your digital sound. So going from analog to digital, that's what I want to say.
Yeah. So I need maybe a max patch or
Yeah, max patch or some kind of interface or software that will allow you to map the information that you're getting from the panel.
so then it will be a trigger, right? A
It could be
sensor.
different things. It could be a sensor, but it's a sensor that it gives you a ramp of values because it's not on and off only.
No.
It works with proximity. The
Mhm.
closer you are, the higher the values, right? So
Yeah.
you can map that to control pitch, to control volume, to control buffer reading, many other things.
And the values are oscillations in voltage.
Yeah, yeah. You get 0 to whatever the panel is giving you 0.5 volts or 1 volt.
Yeah.
So you have to also map or scale voltage into that. But that's very simple. You don't even need to. I mean, if you have like a max patch that will read the volume, you can say, well, that is a scale. Scale this volume to 0 to 120 values or something like that. And that will be automatic.
Yeah, I get it. Would it be an idea that we have a second meeting and I buy all these things and I come with them and we assemble it here?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So let's think about what should I buy. I have two dancers.
Why don't you tell me more about your idea?
Mhm.
Tell me more about the concept of the piece, the idea,
Yes.
what is going on there.
My idea is to inform the audience about sustainability.
Uh-huh.
I want to have three movements in the piece. The lineup is two circus artists, which dance and do a little bit of circus. Uh, I have a plant and I have this device that translates the electricity into MIDI. You know
Mm-hmm.
it? Maybe? Plants play. We use it today. It's a small.
Do you have it
I
there?
have it.
Like to show? Ah,
Yes.
cool. You have it with you.
Yeah. And it has electrodes.
Uh-huh.
And you put the electrodes on things that produce electricity but living things. I tried it also on my palms and
Right.
it worked.
Right.
But also on the leaves of the plant.
Yeah, because it's water, basically. It's conductive. So you can put it in your banana, you can put it everywhere, no? And
I
it
never
will...
tried with banana, but that could be a nice experiment. Yeah, so I have this.
That is the device, the interface.
It's a converter actually.
Right.
It converts the voltage
Into MIDI.
through the firmware that is built, to
And-
MIDI.
And this is to connect where?
So this is the Type C connection that.
So you connect here the electrode. Or...
Yes. This is the cable for the electrodes.
Uh-huh.
So I put it here. I put it on the plant or something.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And then the second one, I have this cable
Mm-hmm.
which goes into MIDI. So
Ah, okay. It comes already as MIDI here.
yeah, so it goes.
And what is it just a ramp of one value, or how many values you get from these electrodes?
Yeah, it's a spectrum, but I don't know the technicality of it.
Okay, I will be interested to see what you get from this. Because,
Yeah, and then MIDI in a sound card.
with jack.
Yeah, with this new from Emma Audio, you can do this.
I have?
Buy this.
Ah, I see. So you go from MIDI
From MIDI
into
out,
MIDI out into
MIDI in.
right, and this is giving you MIDI.
Yeah,
That's
this is MIDI.
That's funny.
Yeah, the new interface is from Emma Audio.
They get
I
MIDI
have
from.
actually with me.
Ah, cool.
So
Learning also, huh?
I
MIDI
put it
in and
here.
out, that's
Yeah,
funny.
that's funny,
Funny.
because before it was disconnection.
But it would be funny also to connect something and see what it gets there. Like it's not MIDI, like just voltage and see. Well, maybe we'll try it. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So I have the plant. I have with this.
Uh-huh.
So with the Ableton, I do my sound design. So the plants will do what I want.
Uh-huh.
I also want to record underwater sounds in the.
So you have one sound from the plant that.
That's one thing. That's in the first movement.
Okay.
So the dancers. They
What's the name of this?
plants play.
Plant play. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they interact with the plant.
Okay.
That's the first movement. Second movement is with underwater sounds, with the contact mic under the water.
Mm-hmm.
I record samples.
Like
and
a
then
hydrophone or is
hydrophone. Yeah.
Okay.
And with those sounds, and I have a percussion player, and I want to put an aquarium
Mm-hmm.
and a small percussion instrument, like a small tom tom or something,
And play that underwater.
underwater with a
Cool.
microphone, and somehow.
Have you heard that?
No, I will
No.
be doing it.
Okay.
And somehow connected to the underwater sound, so live with fixed underwater sound.
Okay.
That second movement. So we go from the jungle to the underwater, and then with the solar panel, it's the third movement, and I'm thinking to have the dancers interact with it. That's
Right.
my idea.
And you want the solar panel to be like an object that people can see, like
Yes.
so it should be big, I guess.
Yeah, at least like this.
But really an object that people can recognize that is a solar panel. That's cool. You have to be careful though with the light that you shine on it from the theater, because that will give you also something if you think about it.
Ah.
No?
Yes.
I mean, you are in a theater situation, you want the panel to be seen, you need to shine light on it, and it's inevitable that that light will give you some
Oh,
information that you might want or not.
no, I don't want. So if I'm outside, for example, it will also be affected, right, by the sun,
The Yeah, the sun also gives some sound, but
some
it's low.
information.
Yeah, like low normally. What you can try is to cover the back of the panel and then shine light from the back, but I don't know how that will look like.
Yeah, because the audience needs to see.
Or yeah, or work with the lights, or consider that will be probably better. Consider the light also as a part of the instrument. So you have the panel and you have a light that will always be the same, you know, that will shine the light on the object,
Mm-hmm.
but also that will be part of the sound that this is creating. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like
Yeah, to be
sort
used to
of,
this idea.
yeah, sort of integrate light into the instrument as part of the visuals, but also as part of the sound that they are controlling. So maybe the dancers are actually getting in between the light, blocking the light from the panel, the light that is shining on the panel or something like that.
But how about the audience doesn't see the solar panel, but I will give anyway a presentation before,
Mm.
so I can explain that they have these more solar panels that they work with. What do you think?
That they wear, or that
Could
they.
be or fixed.
Mm.
No.
I think it's cool that people, since everything is so visual in your piece, like you have the water, people can see the water. You have the plant, people can see
See
the
the
plant. It's good that maybe in this case they can also see the panel as an object.
yeah.
Think about it. The light can be from behind, and still, as in your presentation, you can see, well, this square that you see there is a solar panel.
Yeah.
And if it's on behind, it affects less. It still affects a little bit because they are very sensitive to light. Or you can filter that information as well. That's a little bit more complicated, but
Hmm. How about I don't work with the lights at all, so the lights are off, but they are a luminous presence with, I don't know, I put 20 bracelets with lights in
mm-hmm.
them,
Mm-hmm.
so people will see the solar panel and it will be just the sound from their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Could that work? So in the third movement everything is off.
Mm-hmm. And then the dancers will come with lights.
Yeah,
So you will see only lights moving and occasionally the solar panel whenever they get close to
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, probably how many dancers are there?
Two.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe two solar panels, but
Could be.
that's safer and yeah, that will work.
So with two solar panels, you think it will be more interactive and we will have more sounds? That's why you
But what
suggested?
do you want? You want to process that information or you want to use the sound, the analog sound from the solar panel?
Tell me a bit about processing before I answer. What can we do?
Anything. It's
Not in a
just
complicated way, but
no,
tell me.
anything. Imagine that this is just a microphone. Imagine that you have a microphone in your hand. No,
You can
you
add
can
effects.
add effects. That's another thing. I didn't think about it, but you can add effects to this sound indeed, like reverb or process the sound that
Mm-hmm.
you're getting from there, or you can use only the information that this is giving you in order to control other process. That's the
Uh-huh.
part that probably you don't understand very well, or do you
Yeah, maybe.
like, I don't know, for example, the speed of a sound. You have a sample
Yeah.
of my voice, for example, and then depending on how much input you have in my microphone, the sound will be faster,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just to say, or it will be louder, this sound,
Yes.
or it will be softer, or it will
Yeah, yeah,
be,
yeah. Based
you
on the
know,
input.
sorry,
Based on the input that
based on
we
the
give to the
inputs. Yeah,
microphone.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
the amplitude, basically.
The amplitude, exactly. You are mapping the amplitude that you are receiving in the microphone. In this case, it's not a microphone; it's a solar panel, but it's the same to control another process. So
Okay.
you have these three options. Either you use the analog sound of it, you use the analog sound and process it,
Mm-hmm.
adding effects, adding whatever you
Yeah.
want, or you use the amplitude value to control another sound.
And
So
how can we control another sound? That's the part which is a bit confusing.
with a max patch or with any other software, you need software for that for sure. So you need to
Super Collider or
Super Collider. I don't work so much with Super Collider, but you could do it with
Point
that.
Max.
Or next time if we meet, I can make a patch here and show you if you have already some sounds, we can load them here or yeah.
Yeah, let's do direct sound and also to add effects. How do we do that?
That will you just connect? Have you added effects to a microphone with voice or something in the past?
Reverb, I think. Yeah.
But you can do the same. Instead of the microphone, connect the solar panel and add effects. Just add reverb, add delay, or whatever you find in your software. What software do you use normally?
Ableton?
I don't. Yeah,
Also Logic I have.
yeah.
What else do you have?
I work with Logic.
Logic, let's do Logic.
So you can connect it and try different plugins. Just add plugins and
So
see
we can
what
do
you
it
like.
next time.
Yeah, I will recommend you to do it though.
To
Take the
do it
mi-
myself, yeah.
to take it. It's from the school, but I let you. I'm not sure if now you can take it because I see this is mine and I gave it to school, but now they put
Yeah.
a code.
No,
So
I
no,
would just get it. It's okay.
just get it
The
online,
small
buy
one,
it.
no?
Yeah, I mean if you're gonna use it, you better have it. No,
This one is okay?
I will recommend you to use. Well, depends how much budget you have, but if
We
you
have budget, it's okay.
okay, so just buy it to try it. I was gonna say buy the one that you're gonna use at the end, but if you need to experiment first, use it because you know what the problem with these things is that also they give you different voltages. You see, this is very little voltage, and it's enough to work. But if a bigger one will give you more voltage, and it might react a bit different. So you just have to consider that you have to change those values probably if you change the solar panel.
Okay, yeah. So this I just cut. I also cut the cable, the line cable.
Mm-hmm.
I solder them,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have direct sound if I put it in an amplifier.
Yeah,
That's
guaranteed.
guaranteed. So I can just get this to try it.
Mm-hmm.
But next time we meet, if I already have done this, would be nice to actually work on the one with the one that I will use in the piece because we will do like 2 meetings or something like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, I find something myself. No.
Yeah,
Just-
work with it, and if I can help you, let me know. I will say that just work with it, experiment, have fun with it, and maybe your idea will also change depending on what you do with this.
Yeah.
And then we make another meeting if you need it.
Yeah.
No, I won't be here though. I'm here next week, but then I'm gone the week after,
Yes.
and then I'm back. So the week of the 20th, I'm not here.
Yeah. That's okay.
Okay.
Good. Okay, I buy this, I experiment with it, and then yeah, maybe we meet again to
Mm-hmm.
try the processing things.
Yeah.
I will also try to see if I can use what I already know, so direct sound and processing with effects.
Or try different lights also. That's something that we didn't do today. Try different lights that you have lights in your house.
Yeah, the
See how they
remote control.
sound, the remote control. It depends on the remote. They have different sounds as well. What else can you try?
The small laser one.
The laser, I tried once. It didn't work in my case, but try another one. If you have another, you get for sure. You get even if you don't hear it, you get signal.
You get.
So connect it to a meter that you can see that you're getting something, because even if you don't hear it, you can still use it as a signal.
But these things for the dancers could work LED.
You need to. This is the bad thing, with these things. You don't know until you buy it. So I will recommend you buy it, but
Yeah, it's
but
€2.
but have the possibility to return them in case they don't.
Yeah,
they
here in
don't work.
Netherlands you can just return.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me
Think about it. The technology is not a problem. I think more about what you want, how do you imagine that it will look, that will look cool, like maybe the bracelets, maybe more than two, or maybe the bracelets are not the just think about how you imagine it will look like before
artistically.
artistically, yeah. I will always recommend first artistically and then we solve it technically. No? And then also, if you're working with it as an instrument, you also generate other ideas
Yeah.
that can inspire you to change the piece or to form the piece.
Yeah, the way I see the third movement is that the lights are off and you can see like a figure or a silhouette of the dancer, but not the entire body. So could be only the hands, and the other could be also just the legs, something like that. And we have two solar panels,
Right.
and they interact with it, and then I process the sound. And pretty much that's it. It doesn't sound complicated, no?
Then look at if you have the chance to do it with the dancers beforehand, or I will recommend you put them yourself
To try it before.
see with the camera how it looks,
Yes.
and put the solar panel there and see if you like it or how you want to change it or things like that.
Yeah, it's good for me that that I met with you, because now I have a structure, so I can take the small one, some lights, experiment with it, then it works, I learn some things, I go to the next part, I get bigger solar panels, I film it with the bigger lights or something, and then I go to the dancers, and then we do it together, and then I say, okay, there is something complicated that I don't understand with the third option to process the sound, to use it as sensors, you said.
Yeah.
So and then I say, okay, I meet with you, so now it's more clear to me.
Yeah. I will recommend you only need what you only do what you need. So maybe you don't need the digital part, no, because you are happy with the sound that you are getting, or maybe you do, but first try it and see if you need more. Then you start to make it more complex, but not the other way around. That some people come with very complex ideas, but then at the end you take all of the energy and resources in making that idea work, and it was not so cool at the end, no. So it's better just to start simple and make it more complex depending on your artistic necessities.
Yeah.
And I think what you're describing is a good way of doing it.
So if I connect the solar panel to my interface there in the unbalanced,
It should work.
it should be
Yeah,
picked up
here.
in Ableton as signal.
Yeah,
For sure.
for sure. If
Yeah.
you connect it here already, you have a combo thingy,
Yeah.
so it already will detect it. Yeah,
Okay.
depending on the light, of course.
Good. So yeah, I think
Almost
you have
every
another
light.
meeting.
Yeah, I have a class, but
Yeah. Okay. Then thanks a lot. Yeah.
no, thank you. Let me know also if you have questions. You have my email, and
Yes.
we can also find out.
Okay. Thank you.